Okay, so in this video I'm going to be demonstrating the use of the seated machine leg curl. This works the hamstrings in the shortened position in isolation. A couple of things I just want to explain first regarding the setup. So first of all, anything that's orange or yellow generally has a function. So it will be some kind of adjustment lever or a handle. So that could be to adjust the position of the seat. It could be to adjust the position of the lower pad or set the arm up and down. So first thing I'd want to do is set the seat position such that when I'm seated, the knee crease wants to be just over the edge of the seat without too much of the femur protruding over the top. So make sure to adjust the seat to the correct position. The lower pad here typically has about 3 or 4 different settings. What I would say is you want to set this lower pad into such a position that it feels nice and secure above and behind the ankle, so it doesn't feel like it's going to slip out from underneath the foot at any point in the movement. But it doesn't want to be so far in that it feels like it's halfway up the lower leg, such that it feels like you're not getting very good tension and maybe not getting as full a range of motion. So ideally you want this pad as low down on the lower leg as you can without that feeling like the pad's going to slip out from underneath the foot. So try and find the most appropriate position. When you're seated, the top pad here shouldn't be sitting directly on the knees. It should be just below the knees, so rather than on top of the knees, because that can feel pretty uncomfortable. So just make sure you're seated correctly. Okay, I'm going to get onto the machine now and show you the setup and go through a couple of little execution tips. Okay, hopefully you can see this okay. So first thing, just making sure that my position is set. So I'm checking the seat position, making sure that my knee crease is just over the edge of the seat. So this feels pretty comfortable right now. Checking the position of the lower pad. So owing to my rather short levers, the top position feels nice and secure to me without being too far up the leg. So I'm going to keep it here. I'm going to select my load. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to use the release lever here to my side. I'm going to pull this in towards me, and I'm going to set the start position to the highest possible position, so my hamstrings are fully stretched at the top. Feet are going to be about hips width apart. The toe angle, for our purposes here, really doesn't matter too much, whether that's toes pointed out, toes in, toes straight out. I wouldn't be too fussed about that. What I would say is have the intention of trying to keep your toes pulled in towards your knees or your shins, so as to remove the calves from the movement so they don't get too fatigued. From there, holding the handles underneath the seat to either side, and then focus on pulling with the back of the lower leg down under the seat. Have the intention of trying to touch the bottom of the seat, and then slowly control the eccentric phase of the exercise, letting the hamstring stretch right up to the very top. Let the weight stack touch down gently without losing tension at the top, and then go for your next rep. Try and keep the technique nice and consistent from rep to rep. So think accelerate on the way down, touching the underside of the seat, and decelerate back up to the top, keeping the tension on the hamstrings as they lengthen for as long as you can. What I would say is you probably want to start with a warm-up set of about 8 reps, around about 50% of your work set weight. Then do a second warm-up set of about 4 reps with a load that's around about 75% of your work set weight. Potentiation of 2, think of this as a feeler set at the work set weight itself. Then I would take a full rest, typically around 2 minutes or so, and then go into your first working set. I would work in the roughly 10 to 20 rep range for these. And again, keeping the technique nice and consistent. So accelerating on the way down, control the eccentric all the way to the top, allowing the weight stack to touch down gently at the top without losing tension before going back in, and try and do as many good quality reps as you can until you're starting to struggle or until you reach failure. When you get to that point, rack the machine. I would rest for about 2 minutes and then go again. Do about 3 working sets in the roughly 10 to 20 rep range. When you can get perhaps 3 sets of 20 quite comfortably at the same load, simply increase the load, drop the reps back down to the lower end of that repetition range, and then gradually build up again over time.